everyone, Richard Carlton. Welcome to another awesome day of there I am, FileMaker Training. I'm here at fmtrain.tv, where every day at 1 o'clock, Monday through Friday, Pacific time, we are doing live training on the FileMaker platform. It's really kind of an amazing platform, and today is an excellent example of why you love FileMaker, because without things like today, you just couldn't get to the end. You wouldn't be awesome. And today is about me forcing awesomeness onto myself. So it sounds funky. It's true. And so I'm going to do is I'm going to expose you to a problem that I ran into about 2 or 3 or 4 weeks ago, how I solved it using the MonkeyBread plugin. And then you will see there'll be this conversation about why Richard sucks, why he did it the long way, why he did it the hard way, and how much better Christian Schmidt would have done it if he was here to do it for me, which he wasn't. All right, so this is FM Training. This is the awesome webpage of where we do all our amazing stuff until we're interrupted. I want to point out that we are actively working on a 30-day course that's coming up. I've given Nick a 30-day vacation. Some of you are just going to like lose your minds because you can't live without Nick. We're going to be doing Starting Point Light. And we're going to be covering it for the beginner. So it's the idea of this course is what we're doing. It's 0 to 30. So it's 30 days, 30 calendar days, but 22 business days, 22 one-hour live streams. We're going to cover the FileMaker platform for beginning people and explain to them how to be successful and get a CRM going in 30 days, essentially for free. If they want to use it with their team, they're going to have to buy a license for FileMaker, which is pretty inexpensive, but we're basically doing it for free. We're going to be doing 30 days of CRM action with the new FM Starting Point Lite. It's not really, as much as I love all of you here, it's not really specifically intended for you unless you're kind of more on the intermediate side of things, beginner to intermediate, then you're certainly welcome. But like the Mokies and the Nicks and the Scotts and people that are much more advanced, it's not really something that is targeted towards you. But part of what we have to do is outreach to new people for the FileMaker community. So it'll be 30 days. That starts April 17th. Oh no, April's right now. That's April 18th today. May. Around a month from May, I think it's May 16th on a Monday, and it'll run. Now, what we're trying to do is come up with the topics for that. So if you have questions, if you're more of a beginning person or intermediate person, and you have questions about things that you need to do with a CRM, like if you don't know what a CRM is, we're going to cover that. But if you I really need to be able to do this blah, blah, blah with a PO and have it blah, 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 right? Then let us know about that. Send an email to support. RC Consulting is very, very, very important because we want to incorporate any important things that you might have. I'm having a meeting today with my staff about this to go through the common requests that we get, and we want to make sure that we address those. So so if you go to fmtrain.tv, this is the definitive location for our training material. If you want to see the upcoming training, you can press this button right here, and right now you see all these various topics that are coming up. Today's about screenshots, then we have translations in FileMaker, which is kind of cool. Then Nick is doing some stuff, and then you got some container stuff. Monday and Tuesday next week, these are in error. Margaret still has these things published this way, but we already covered the Claris IT Toolkit next week, so there'll be some other stuff that'll go in there. And then eventually, when we get to middle of May, it'll be day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way through, and we'll cover the topics for those. But it's very, very important because we have a new CRM, and it's designed for beginners to kind of try to get their heads around, so they don't have to start from scratch. It's really kind of an important thing with the FileMaker community. We need new people to come in, and they need to understand the fundamental value of what it represents. So let's talk about fundamental value today. So let's talk about today's event. Today's about screenshots. So let me set this conversation up. Along the way, if you have questions, so let's talk about the use case today. So here is the use case. So this is some upcoming inside secret sauce stuff that what we're doing. RCC is moving our video playback to a web interface that's really quite good. For those of you who've ever seen the video interface for the CMS, the certification training, right? If I go over here and I say special high intensity training. So this is a certification training. People are taking this, watching this, getting through the test. It's really good material. And so what this is a database. This is a database right here that drives a web page. So if I say view a live web page, this is the live web page right here. Actually, I need an access key in here. Doesn't particularly matter for today's, but if I put the key in here, the license key, it's going to display this in HTML. It works on a browser, works on a mobile device. So you don't have to have FileMaker to play back videos, which is great, right? And so we're moving that way. In order to move that way, we have to take our pro course, our mobile course, our deploy course. We're talking 400, 500, 600, 700 videos and move them over. We've already moved the videos. It wasn't a hard problem. The problem was that we wanted to have thumbnails here. And the problem is that normally when you build thumbnails, you know, I like to put this like little play button on it. So if I export, let's see if I can drag this out of here and just do that. If I double click on it and we see this thumbnail, what you see is some sort of Photoshop thing that went on, right? We normally pay our Photoshop people, our designers to create the thumbnail for us. And they put this kind of translucent playback button. So the white here is like mostly solid, slightly opaque if you look through there a little bit. And then the circle is about a 50%. It's a black circle with a 50% opacity on it, if you know what I'm talking about. And so, but I had literally hundreds and hundreds. Just in the pro course, we have 386 videos. So I have 386 thumbnails that need to be created. You're like, holy, that's a lot of work. And then I've got more in other courses. And I don't want to take my video people off and have them do thumbnails. It's kind of stupid. Now, when we do thumbnails over on for the live streams, those are pretty customized. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cover this real quick. If I go back into if I go to home, I go to the live stream. This is the live stream system that we set up here. These thumbnails here are pretty custom, right? If I look down here, I drag this one out, I double click it. It's got me in there, it's got Jacob in there. They have fun with this, right? It's a little bit more work to do it this way, but when you're talking about in our video course, like in the middle of the video course, what ends up happening is that I don't need that level of customization, but I need some kind of a custom thumbnail with a play button over it. Does that make sense? And so the rub was, I said, well, what I really need is to find a video frame from the video that I like, and then I need to put the play button over it. And you're like, that's going to be so much work. Well, but I can see that it's kind of this rote, repetitive process. So I'm thinking to myself, like the old days. Remember, some of you remember back 25, 30 years ago, there was a product called Quick Keys. It was on the Mac and eventually on Windows. And it allowed you to automate this process of pushing a button and then 5 things happen. And so I said, well, we always talk about this MonkeyBread thing, and I almost guaranteed it will kind of do this for me. And so what I did is I said, well, so this screen at the time was empty. All these thumbnails are created by my new process we're going to show you today. But what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down to the very bottom. So what we have is we have a name of a video, right? And then I have a Vimeo link or a YouTube link or something like that. And so let me walk you through this process. So if I zoom in down here, I want to press this button right here. That will help me automate the process. Now, if I just take a screenshot of a video, it doesn't really have a play button on front of it. So how the hell do you do that? Well, what I could do is I'm going to go and press this button, which will start a script. We're going to walk through this script. And I'm going to zoom back out here. And so this is a popover window. Why do I pop a new window? Because it allows me to control the context. We don't lose where we were on the other window. So when we're done here, we just close the window. Basic technique. Most of you know this. And so here is the screen. So the idea is this is a Vimeo. If I go to layout mode, if it'll let me, this is a URL, it's a web viewer right here. This is a regular container over here. And the goal is to find a frame over here I like, then somehow start a process. Now over here, you're like, here is this image right here. That is, we talked about PNGs last week a little bit. I think that was last week, where you can actually set an opacity and a transparency. So if this was a JPEG, as I move this around, notice how it's on top. And things kind of show through kind of it's about a 50% opacity. And then this area over here is transparent, right? Pretty neat, right? So I'm gonna kind of put it back to where it was. Here it is. And so the idea is that it takes the thumbnail, it puts it here, then it takes a thumbnail or a screenshot of a screenshot. So the important thing to understand is that first I'm gonna take a screenshot, I'm gonna go over here, I'm gonna navigate to a spot, And this is what our video team was working on.
But our premium
So let's say that this picture of me with my mouth open is like really awesome. And we've identified this frame right here. So what I could do is press this button right here. When I press it, now this was all built internally for me. It was all built internally for me. So it's not pretty for public use. This is internal sausage making, right? We all remember this, right? So here's the internal sausage making. I want a screenshot of this. It's not a whole screenshot. We're targeting a specific area. And you can tell by these are the coordinates over here for this. And then it's going to stick it in here. Then it commits the record. So it's essentially saved. And then this image is on top of the container, right? And then it takes a picture of this spot right here, which has this image over the top of the screenshot, right? Total hack, a maximum hack. So I'm going to go ahead and press the button right here. And there's a little delay, and then and then it's down there. So if I drag this out, this is the thumbnail size of what I was looking for right here, right? And this is it, right? There it is. And so this is the thumbnail with that play button over the top. Here's another one that Margaret did a couple weeks ago or last week or wherever it was. And so we've decided that these are the size of thumbnails we want. They're not giant. Because remember, we're driving these through a web page. We don't need them to be giant because on the screen on the web page, they're going to be they won't be any bigger than this. So we made them double size for Retina displays, right? So as you understand, Retina displays, high resolution displays, right? I'm not on a Retina display right now to keep this event under control. So does that conceptually make sense what we're talking about? Everyone following along here? So we don't have any, all right, makes sense. So someone is there. That's awesome. So we had this process. So what I did is I showed you the use case. I showed you the final product. So let's talk about how we got there, because I think how I got there is probably somewhat illustrative of what you're likely to go through. So first off, you have FileMaker. You know that FileMaker is awesome. It really is a great product. And so then you know that MonkeyBread is also awesome. So you have two awesome products together. You should be able to solve this problem. And so first thing you do is you would go to the MonkeyBread website. You go to monkey. What did that say? Ethical something? Ethical shooting of monkeys. All right. So MonkeyBread software. You would download their current snapshot of their current. When you download the product, even though you already own it and you already have it installed, you're going to get all the sample files coming here. So that's one thing. The other thing you could do is you could do a search in here for screenshot, or some keyword, and whatever keyword you come up with your little project, like say you're trying to figure out credit card or something, right? Maybe you type credit card in there, or credit or card or something. So I type screenshot, I get MBS. So it's Google, but it's limited to the MonkeyBread the site. It's trying to find the component for the screenshot. And so it's found this. So I clicked this and it goes into the documentation. I was like looking at this, like screen count, screen height. It's like, no. Screenshot. Got it. That looks important. Okay. And then I was like wrestling with it, and I ended up figuring out that what I really wanted to do was take a screenshot based upon the 4 parameters, which is the essentially your height and width, right? Does that make sense? And so I ended up using, right here is the picture. There's that 1024 right there. See that, Christian Schmidt? So what I ended up doing is I was wrestling with screenshot, but it wasn't doing exactly what I want. So I sent a note to Christian Schmidt, and he goes, "You want screenshot rectangle?" Got it. So then I'm like, well, Christian Schmidt is always doing sample files. So wouldn't it be really great if he already built this for me? So what I did is I downloaded the MonkeyBread and the same on Windows. And you get this thing right here. But there is a ton of in here. So what I did is I decided I'm going to do a search on my computer. I'm going to restrict it to this folder in here. And I'm going to say, show me anything that has a word screen. And then I type screen. I get Windows screenshot. I'm like, there it is. And so here is a Windows screenshot. And you're like, okay. So you have a Windows shot, a screenshot, a partial screenshot. So I just started playing with this. Script cannot be formed, it's not modifiable. And that you make that mistake, right? You realize it's still in a zip repository or some sort of image. So you're gonna option drag it out. It'll replace it. So you now have a test file right here to play with. We double click it. I already have the MonkeyBread plugin installed. We're not going to cover that. I say screenshot, boom, there it is. If I drag it out of here, double click there, it doesn't look too bad. Okay, it's a little pixelated. You can turn up the quality on that a little bit if you wanted to. So then you're like, okay, so this was the beginnings of where I realized that I could make this work. And so I ended up taking this and gluing it into as a little gear icon in this system down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk us through this code. It's pretty straightforward. The running assumptions that you already have the MonkeyBread plugin installed. So to streamline the workflow, once again, I realized that no one outside the company would ever see this. It's only inside tool, so it doesn't have to be pretty. And my team would only run it 400 or 500 times, and then they probably wouldn't run it anymore, maybe ever, right? So it's so simple, right? But you have to it was a screenshot, but then you wanted the alpha channel over the top, that PNG with the little play button. It's kind of like half opacity, right? So what I did is, so I'm going to walk us through this. So I'm going to click on this, and all this does is pops open the window. And then what I'm going to do is so you can already see, so to streamline it, we already had the URL. So it finds the URL, okay? It throws up the video over here. The video's not playing yet. It says a web viewer, and that is the PNG on top. And I worked out on this specific layout what it does. You'll see this in a second. I'll go to script debugger, and I'm going to make this a little smaller so we can walk through this. But I'm going to say, I'm going to find a spot that we like in the videos. There's Richard.
About it a number of different times.
There I am there. I'm really bored. There's coursework, some screenshots there. I say, grab it. So what it's going to do is this first thing it says, hey, run this command. I'm going to zoom in over here a little bit. And then here's what I found out is that we're using a function called get window left and get window top. So it tells me what it does is over here, you'll see these dimensions. These are dimensions that basically are on top video, on top of where the window's at. So the window is variable, right? Otherwise, if you did hard coordinates, you'd have to always try to align the window before you run it. So no matter where you move the window, mostly it adjusts for that. So if I zoom out here, I'll just simply tell you that if you're over here, and so there's two screenshots that run. Screenshot 1 goes here, then you get screenshot 2, and that gets stuck as the one that's saved. If this is off the screen like this, it chops it off. It can't take a picture of stuff that's not on the screen. In the world of FileMaker, we frequently hide stuff off the layout, off the window. We do that all the time. Standard trick. Doesn't work here because it can't take a screenshot of it can't see on the monitor, right? On the monitor. So it has to be on screen. So of course, Margaret one day is trying this on a little tiny laptop, and she can't only fit this much on the laptop. She's like, it doesn't work, right? That's because this one's designed kind of for at least a 1080 display. And so I got the screen debugger. It's going to basically run this script command right here, which essentially is going to run this MBS function. So it's going to set the thumbnail over here. It's going to run the MBS function, screenshot function. It's going to pass some coordinates in it, okay? And that's what it's going to do. So if I step down here, now it took the screenshot and it moved it over there, and it's looks a little pixelated, but I'm not sure if that's still the case or not. Let me see. We'll have to look at that again. And so it takes that picture over there. If we zoom all the way out. So it's kind of hard to see. I think I worked through all the pixelation. You want to set the quality at max quality for those of you wondering about this, because if you do any images, you can always turn up the compression, which makes it fuzzy. So you turn the compression down so it's as high as possible, as pretty as possible. But it could make excessively large images doing that. So it's one of those. That hasn't changed in 30 years. That's still the same thing it's always been. So then what I did is I have some unnecessary commits. And what I also ran into the fact, I was trying to make sure it would work correctly, is that it would almost run too fast. The screen wouldn't update in time. So I put a 1-second pause in here just to get it so the screen will display it right before the script keeps going. And then it's going to run the final screenshot right here, right? It's going to put it into a thumbnail you really don't even see on screen. It sets a field. Oh, actually, I don't think I'm using both of these here. Which one am I actually using? So if I come down here, Actually, these are the same. I set it into a field. I set it into a variable as well, but I don't think we ever use the variable. So this is probably these commands are the same. We set it into a field. We set it a variable. I don't even think I use this one. It's unnecessary. So we finish it. We commit. Then we close the window, and then of course the thing is basically done. Oh, I end up using. Okay, so I end up not using line 15. I use the variable here, and then I set it right here. So it's pretty straightforward. And once again, this goes back to like beginning FileMaker people. Always talk about these people right here. When I'm doing this, I am literally this person right here. I am just trying to get it to work. Unnecessary commits, unnecessary pauses. I'm throwing whatever in there I can do to try to like get it to work at the end. And then once it works, you're like, is it fast enough? Yes. Does it cost people so on? No, then leave it alone, right? But you could optimize it. And so this is like, I feel like my first year in FileMaker programming. I was just trying to get it to work. It wasn't about style and beauty. And I remember Nick saying, I'm personally invested in the beauty of the solution. This is this black and white thing over here that we had is what I would call nasty. It's nasty. It's just nasty, okay? But it works because down here, it kicked out the image that we needed. Although it was off screen slightly, so it chopped it off. So if I come over here and I put this, that container area was off screen, so it chopped it and made it a little bit funky, right? So then of course Christian Schmidt gets on here with his German precision. He goes, well, you could have done this much better, right? I'm like, really? I'm just happy it worked at all. So here he goes. Yeah, so this is yeah, there you go. So Christian, if you're there, if you want to pop up here, we can chat about this a little bit. Let's see, where is he there? There he is. So now we're going to welcome Christian here. I didn't want him, you're muted. I didn't want him complaining that I suck, because if you were better, then you would have done this correctly, right? And he has to say it with that kind of German accent, right? And I'm like, yes, master. Yes, master. I beg your forgiveness, Christian, right? So, people on YouTube, Twitch, Discord, thoughts and questions, right? So you put a thing in here. You could have targeted a container and just said, is that a Windows screenshot? Is that what that is? Container? If you want to show your screen a little bit.
No, let me just explain. Screenshot was one of the functions we had in, I think, version 1, 16 years ago. And this is one of the functions I rewrote several times.
Really?
So it changed under the hood. Yeah, well, technique changed. We needed a high resolution. We needed permission dialogues on macOS to take screenshots.
Which brings up a good question. Does this work in Windows? Let me see what it says. Yeah, Windows, it says 80%. We see screenshot. Windows, yes. And then the rectangular one, which I'm using. Yeah, so what I did today would have worked in Windows, okay?
Yeah, and so a lot of people tried to take screenshots of web viewers, of interactive containers. So I made this container screenshot function, which takes the name of a layout object. And then we discovered that it would take screenshot of anything on the screen because you just tell it to screenshot a portal if you like.
Container.screenshot. So is that on the screen? If you look at my screen here, I'm back to your help.
No, it's not there.
So I have to.
You can click on the screenshot function.
Okay.
And there I added a new line
also
there
seek
for you
to make a screenshot of a layout object or web viewer screenshot. See, we were talking about this before the live stream started. It's like, hey, well, if Christian was here, like if you installed the MonkeyBread plugin and Christian just magically pops up in a window here and says, hi, I'm here to help you. I'm Christian, right? Then it would be done probably better. But you leave a FileMaker developer with 32 years of experience with a powerful product and the MonkeyBread plugin on top of which is another powerful product. I'm going to figure out how to make it work, but it may not be the best. It's like the 1.0. I'm showing you this because when I was done, it took me 3.5 hours to beat my head against the wall to go in circles to figure this out, right? And is it worth it? Well, I spent 3 hours, but then Margaret ripped through all the thumbnails in short order, right? In fact, you could even have put other items alpha on top of it. Like, some of the thumbnails have a diagonal thing. I could have put something in there, like additional overlays on top, right? We got really sophisticated with it, but the core screenshotting stuff was done, right? So questions, comments, because it's a quiet day today, but I think
so as
valuable.
you stumbled over this function, I just added this sentence for you on the documentation. So next time someone looks there, they can see that we have those other 3 functions.
Oh, okay. So you,
Yeah.
if I do.
And I already worked on fixing the issue with 1000.
So is PNG support on the Mac? Is that how this works? Or
PNG is already there for Mac.
Okay. And then the quality level is
yeah.
So this is what threw me off. I was getting some like really images, right? And so I wasn't sure what it is. So you said that, so PNG, is it 0 to 100 for that too? Is PNG the highest? Actually, PNG,
it's 0 to 100, yeah.
So 100 is the highest level. So but yeah, so you have to, so in here, so quality, he says, says 90 right here. That's an example, but it sure. Yeah, the documentation here should say it's like 0 to whatever. So anyway, you get that idea. So that's how that kind of works. Does that make sense? So for those of you wondering, questions? Ken's typing a question. If I need to take a screenshot of an external document, would this or the continuity example be the best to drop it into a container? Okay, external document. Okay, stop. It's on the screen. If it's on the screen, you can take a picture on the screen. If it's externally like a piece of paper, then you want to use the continuity camera for that. We had a separate event about that, right? I that was the other one I did. I wired in continuity camera into an inventory control system I have, right? So I have a bunch of emergency gear and stuff like that, and in my emergency gear, I have it in different offices and things. I want to make sure I could document and knew what stuff was. Hang on. There's MonkeyBread. There he is. Okay. So so Ken says on screen, but I need it to be in a container, and I can take a screenshot and drag it to the container. You could, yeah. So the screenshot thing works. How would you handle that? I mean, I'm starting back to, I'm thinking hacky ideas, but.
Does he maybe need a screenshot of maybe a preview of a Word document?
That's what he's talking about. That's what he's talking about. So, I mean, if you know the dimensions on screen, like you always park it in the spot or something like that, right? But yeah, how would you do that, right? Because you have to either identify the window by its name or something, right?
Well, we have an example for using LibreOffice to make Word documents, PowerPoints, Excel documents to PDFs and put them in a container.
Okay. That's LibreOffice, for those of you who don't know, I haven't seen it in a long time, but that's the open source free kind of Microsoft Office hack that people put together. I haven't installed it in years, but it doesn't matter.
Well, the reason we use it is because it can be scripted.
Oh.
And I have an example for that coming with a plugin. So you can make PDFs out of those Office document formats on Mac, Windows, and Linux.
Really? Okay, cool. Okay, so Kyle Williams asked the question, does MBS have a function for exporting WebViewer HTML content as a PDF? Well, okay, so
yeah,
stop.
Sure.
I mean, we kind of just did that, right? I mean, it was in a container, and you could have gone to. I mean, this is one I could think of 5 different ways of doing it, Kyle. Right? So it's just a matter. I mean, if you take pictures and you stick them in containers, and you can rearrange the containers, and you can script FileMaker to output the layout with containers on it to a PDF, would be one way. The first way I would do it, because we have the whole function in here. It was right here. I remember I built it by taking coordinates on screen of where I knew things would be, but he has this function in here. If I go back, it's the
we have a web view render PDF function.
Here it is right here. It's web view screenshot, right? So so that takes the picture off the web viewer, right? Web viewer, print to file, web view, render PDF. Oh, there you go. Web view, render PDF. I missed that one. Okay. All right. So Ken, I knew the hot air balloon would come in here sooner or later. So it's a pilot certificate, but the picture is not cropped. So I crop it and take a screenshot at the same time and then drag it in. If the picture was reliably in the same spot, you can automate it, right? Like if you, like over here, when I'm doing this, like I come over here and I do this, if you had a scan or something of the pilot certificate, actually, your pilot certificates look the same as mine. What I'm thinking that they probably do. They're really kind of, hang on one second. Everyone, hold on one second. The FAA, now, and it's EASA in Europe, and it's a CSAA in Canada if you're in Canada. Let's see where there it is. So that is an ugly ID right there. Is my picture on the back side of it, maybe? Picture was taken as wacky framed. Okay, yeah. Well, okay, so here's the thing. If you always know that part of the image is going to be in a spot, you can program. I'm trying to cut this thing out. I tape it into my logbook so I don't lose it. I got a copy of it. Okay, this one doesn't have okay, so on mine, I don't even have a picture on mine. So this is I got Orville and Wilbur right over here, right on the back, not my photo, and then some other crap on here. I just put my finger over important stuff, but that's, so yeah, so is this my current one? Yeah, commercial helicopter. Okay, so I don't know where your pictures are coming from. Maybe someone submitted them, but at least for fixed wing and helicopters, what the cards look like. All right, cool. Other questions that people have on Twitch, YouTube, Discord? Problem is the pilot takes a picture. Oh, they take a picture and then, yeah. So if it's not consistent in image-wise, you're going to have a problem with that. Let me go back to over here with Christian. Questions for Christian Schmidt about screenshots and mayhem. Really?
Well, usually we write scripts to automate things which happen a lot of times. So if you get scans from your pictures there and, well, you can somehow find the edges. Like we have a function, I think, to find something like a black line. So so you can load a picture of a scan, and then you can, for example, have the plugin look for the first non-white pixel, so we can find how far the picture has moved to the left or the right.
Really?
Yeah, we used that once for surveys. So people had a paper to fill out and make crossings for various answers.
Okay.
And then we could look where the whole sheet is on the scanner, so that we had a borderline around, so we could see how it's aligned and cut away the area around. Yeah. And then we could look how many pixels in a certain area are black. And this way we could see, we would have a threshold like it's maybe 3% black if there's just an empty box. It's maybe 20% black if there is a cross inside. And then if someone tried to undo the cross by drawing over it.
Well, that's where people get into this AI stuff, where the AIs are trying to find different things for you in the image. That's an evolving technology that's interesting. It's people, it's like Claire's came out with their AI ML reader stuff just on the iPhone, which was like, oh geez, really. And but it was like when FileMaker Go first came out in 2010, businesses didn't know what to do with it. They hadn't thought that far ahead. They weren't, really. It took 5-6 years for businesses to really start saying, hey, we want mobile field deployed solutions, things like that. I thought it would immediately be a thing. And immediately it was not a thing. It was always a slow adoption of the technology. AI is kind of along those lines. There has to be a really easy to implement AI that identifies elements for you. And I see ads, like you drive through the San Francisco Bay Area and they're running ads for various AI. Yeah, it can do this and it's not a lot of money and blah, 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 blah. Big giant billboards driving down the road for AI. And finding desks and finding this and finding that, and so you'd want an AI that could find the photo of the person's face. If you had a service you could do, you could talk to it on an API.
Oh.
If it was if it was like a consistent, reliable big company, then Christian Schmidt could write his thing to it in MonkeyBread for you.
Well, of course, someone could hire me. Yeah.
Of course, they could hire him.
We also have a function on macOS to use the built-in machine learning stuff in the operation system
Really?
to find faces. So there's a core image.detect function.
Okay, you want to show your screen so we can see what you're talking about? Or do you have any way of doing that?
Yeah, first. So you may see that here on screen.
Yeah, we sure do.
So there's a core image detect function, and it can find faces. So you could find the face and then do something with it. So this is an example we made. So we run the function on the picture, and then we get back a big JSON block, and the JSON has an X coordinate, Y coordinate, width and height. So we know the area in the picture where the face is.
Okay, but is it identifying everything, or is it just identifying just the faces?
This is looking for faces of humans.
Okay. Did it say that, or because it seems to me this is a generic term here, right? Oops, sorry.
So you have here things you're looking for.
Can be a face, rectangle, text, or QR code.
Text blocks or QR code.
Okay, can you look at the picture over here, the pilot's license on I'm going to bring this up over here on Discord. I don't know if you can bring Discord up, or I can bring up Discord. Let's see if I can. Yeah, so there's a rectangle right here. Could it find that rectangle? Would it find all the rectangles, right? Because there's a picture here of the back of the, basically there's a pilot's license, right? Makes sense? So would it be able to
just a second.
Oh, he's got a file. He's got a sample file.
Yeah, I copy it here. And now I have to save the picture. How do I save the picture out of this?
Or just take a screenshot of it, or whatever you need to do.
Yeah, save the picture on the desktop. There it is. So I drag the picture here and say detect. And if it's not crashing, yeah, we get something.
Okay.
So it found the face on the right side.
Okay. Yeah, well, because this one's got text and stuff, or it makes sense it wouldn't get that. So what about, but that's a rectangle, and that's a rectangle, and that's a rectangle. So
here, rectangle, let's see what it says. Oh, this says nothing.
So I can't find a rectangle.
Yeah. Maybe it would help to have the card on a white space.
Yeah, I'm sure on a white surface it would be much better. Yeah, see, that's the thing, right? So then, because the way this works is that he tells people, hey, if you want to come to this hot air balloon thing, right, then send us a picture of your pilot's license. And people are taking all sorts of pictures of the card, right? So
no, this doesn't
like
that. I'm not sure what it finds.
Yeah. Well, that and so henceforth, here's the problem with yeah,
text finds some text boxes. Okay.
Yeah. It's that's the problem with the AI. It's not good enough yet, right? Because you can't have it to the point where it's only works on some people's stuff, right? Because then someone has to still triage it and QA it, knowing that there's going to be problems. 50% of the time it'll fail or something, right? That's just a really high failure rate. It's not a MonkeyBread issue. He is calling the Mac operating system core learning, machine learning technology. So yeah, core image detect, right? So the problem is this in the Apple operating system is just not good enough. I don't know what else to say. I mean, parts of me are happy it's not that good. If it was that good, you could have the HAL 9000 start killing people, right? You don't need that. AI is not quite where we need it to be. Yeah, that's either good or bad, Ken, right? Is that good or bad? I ask you the question. So, vision, classify image. Ooh, what does that do? All right, Margaret, how we doing? Everything quiet? Pretty quiet day. Not a lot of people on Twitch and YouTube.
It's Monday. People tend to be quieter on Monday in my experience.
Well, it's funny because there's a lot of good stuff. I mean, this is one of those practical applications where classify image. Oh, animal, got that right. I got mammal. It got fence. Okay, it's on top of a fence. It's outdoor. It has sky, cloudy. Yeah, pretty good. That's not too bad. So it's doing it's finding all the attributes over here. So it sees animal, mammal, structure, fence, sky. Uh-oh. Looks like we might have. Oh, he's back. There's cake. Let's try that
Yeah,
again.
just you can use it to classify.
It's food.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
It's
Food,
something baked.
baked,
It's a birthday
big
cake.
cake. It's a cake. It's a dessert.
Yeah.
Go. Wow.
Yeah, with the probability, so you can see that
Oh.
it's very sure it's food.
Okay. It's pretty
So-
sure it's baked.
Yeah.
It's pretty. All these. So a 1 is it's absolutely 100% sure, right? So a 0.7 or a 0.6, right? It'd be a lower probability, right? So.
So a few customers use classification like this to tag images a little bit automatically, like your Photos application on the iPhone. So you can actually search in your FileMaker database by what may be on the picture.
That's interesting.
So usually you can, of course, have a picture database and you have your photographers all tag the images, but usually they are lazy. So you want to have some automatic tags.
I like that. That's pretty good. Yeah. So that might be useful for, I don't know. I think that this is an evolving area where it just needs, like, for example, the reality is there should be candles in there too, right? It should know that those are some sort of little stick things sticking out of the top and sparklies and stuff, right?
Yeah, but it says here birthday. It's
right. No, I know, but I mean, how do you, yeah, that'd be interesting. Adult. There we go. Adult and people.
Yeah.
Okay. Notice that the probability, but it didn't come back with ID card or anything like, or card or anything, right? It just came back with people, right?
So this is using a specific model, which is built into the operation system and used in various places. So if Apple updates it with an operation system update, it gets better.
Or you could get another model from someone else.
Or you get a model yourself, like, let's see. So here's a website listing a couple of models. So you could just pick whatever model you like.
There you go, right there. Not safe for work. All right, we're definitely going to turn that on with this crew, especially if David's not here today, but David Angel was here. Got to make sure that people are wearing their clothes before you shoot it off.
Yeah, we had a blog article about that because some people like to filter all the pictures for Unity. Like if you don't want to have user-generated content appearing on your website, and some people
Yep. And then you got text recognition right there. There you go. And Kyle, was this going to be really great if it would do that? Yeah, it's in there. It's just detects dominant objects in the image.
A lot of more things.
All sorts of models in here. Yeah, sometime we ought to go through and do a demo of installing a model, right? Doing the model. Do you want to do a nudity not safe for work detection live stream sometime?
Yeah, well, maybe we just pick one of the other models because we would have to need samples.
All right, we have any pictures that are questionable? With this crew of people,
we would get immediately banned off of Twitch and YouTube and never be able to stream again.
Oh, that'd be bad.
That's against their terms of service.
Yeah, there you go. All right, yeah, we'd have to pick a different model to do. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Well, Pretty exciting stuff. So I want to thank everyone for coming today. Very exciting day. And then hopefully everything will turn out here where we are recording this for everyone. But yeah, it's a good topic. Once again, this is the MonkeyBread plugin, which I personally am thrilled. I did 2 different projects with MonkeyBread. This was one of them. So this is MonkeyBread here. You can go to the home website. You can check out purchasing it. Highly recommend you take a look at this. The other thing I did, what was the other? I did 2 things with MonkeyBread. I did this one. And what was the other one I did, Margaret? Screenshots. And what was the other one? I'm spacing on it.
Oh, I'm spacing on it too. It was important though.
It was very important.
Was it related to the deploy stuff, or is it something completely different?
I honestly, right now, drawn a blank. I've been talking for an hour and I've just drawn a blank. But yes, I did 2 of these. One was the screenshot action, the thumbnail fixing stuff, and then there was it was the continuity camera. I set up the continuity.
Oh yes, yeah, you did on a lot of your databases.
Yep. So that one's not too hard, easy to do. I highly recommend it. So for those of you wondering about this tech, this is MonkeyBread software with Christian Schmidt here. This is the tall, good-looking, beautiful German who is. It's late at night there. He's probably way past his bedtime, but we greatly appreciate you coming and looking and seeing. This is pretty neat. And then addressing your questions. Okay, then the Flint says, I just joined the video. I'm not sure what the back end for this, though it's MonkeyBread. I'm assuming it's connecting API, Google or something. Yeah, I'm going to recommend Flint that you catch the recording of this, but the short version is that we're talking in terms of the machine learning part of it. I assume the back end for the database is FileMaker, obviously. The plugin is doing what we need to do. The machine learning. Okay, you want to explain to one more time, summarize, Christian Schmidt. Where are the ML models at that you're accessing? It's built in the operating system, right?
Yeah, we use the built-in functions for the vision functions there because that's part of the vision framework coming with macOS and used in several applications.
Now, I have seen where people use Clarity and Watson and other services like that to get your machine learning going on. Once again, the MonkeyBread plugin specifically is designed to take functionality that's in the operating system on Mac and Windows and to bring it into FileMaker where FileMaker hasn't done it natively. So
yeah, so we have QML functions to load the model and run it, as well as FileMaker has some built-in functionality, but I think the plugin has a little bit more on that.
Well, I think the ML, the machine learning is limited to iOS, right? It's not Mac. I think it's iOS only, right?
I would expect that FileMaker also does it on Mac.
I don't think so.
Because the framework is available on both.
I know that, but I'm pretty sure it's on the Go only. But yeah, so which case that's why we use. So Christian is always like the screenshot stuff we were doing earlier today. It's functionality that's built in the operating system on Windows and Mac, but FileMaker doesn't give it to you. So he has 6,700 and whatever number of functions of things that Claris didn't give you that he's bringing to you from the operating system. So if you're trying to do an API to like Watson or to Zapier or to Google, whatever, then that's a little bit different tack. That's an API where you're going to write an API to have that interaction. But this is basically Christian talking to the operating system on that computer. So there we go. So there was a MonkeyBread there. Oh, another good link there. I'm gonna copy and paste that into YouTube and Twitch there. Those are links there. So that's the GitHub on awesome core ML models. Cool. All right. Well, that's it for today. Check out the recording on this if you have questions about it. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Welcome, Flint. Glad you're here. Appreciate it. Christian Schmidt, thank you for coming. You didn't have to come, but it's really great. And obviously having Christian, when you buy the plugin, coming with the plugin for free would be great, but it doesn't work that way. You have to learn how to find the functions and kind of get going on them. And then if you have questions along the way, like, can you steer me to a function that does something? He can do that. He's not going to tell you how to build it. He'll most times steer you towards a sample file he's already built. There's samples in there, like 900 sample files or something, Christian? Crazy.
600.
600.
But usually if people just ask and I can quickly answer a question in a minute or so, and it saves you an hour or two, then I would be happy to help.
Yeah. No, he's good like that.
And of course, based on the questions we get, we decide to what blog posts to write or what movies to make or what articles to write. Yeah,
so here's his examples are here. These are all the examples that he's got. And inside these folders is typically multiple examples and readmes. Like there's like 5 or 6 examples on OS scripting, OCR, optical character recognition, right? I mean, there's a ton that this thing does. Ton, right? So, all right, cool. Well, that's it for today. Christian's support is good, not just live video. Yeah, Ken loves that too. All right, thanks everyone. Appreciate it. We'll catch you tomorrow. Tomorrow, Margaret, is that Calvin tomorrow with beginner stuff?
Tomorrow is J-Ray.
Tomorrow, J-Way. Oh, with automatic translation with Google. It's kind of a basic sample, but it's good stuff, and it's probably something that's in MonkeyBread too. Knowing Christian, just about everything's in here. All right, see you. Got a report of an individual up here who may be a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired. Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir!